And we're back Monday. Oh, slight echo in here. Oh, well, we're gonna have to deal with it.
All right, sounds good. Frank, good morning.
How was your weekend?
It was good. I was out in Denver visiting some friends. It was even hotter than it was in Chicago, 100 degrees. But I didn't mess up the moneymaker. Didn't
How would that happen?
get too sunburnt.
Okay.
It happens quite easily for
You're
you
looking
boy.
actually very pale, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't even mean that in a negative way.
You kind of did though.
But how do you deal with the sun? Like you don't
I wore a hat.
but you don't let your skin get any sun prior to putting lotion on.
I did. I went a few hours this weekend. No SPF. Sorry, Mom.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the lighting.
Let's go with that. Yeah, I'm feeling tan. This is about as good
You
as
look
it gets.
great. You look really
Thanks.
good.
Yourself? Weekend? Exciting?
I want to hear more about Denver.
It wasn't too crazy. We went to a creek where all the Colorado Boulder students go. It was popping off.
So you and your 23, 24-year-old friends went to the local college.
Literal. No, we went. Stayed in Denver. There's not, as much to do in Denver
As
like
Boulder.
proper. Boulder. My friend's parents have a place up there. It's 5 degrees
Oh, okay.
cooler.
All right.
So we stayed up there, did a little hike, and then
It
went
is
to this.
beautiful. Boulder's beautiful.
Went to Boulder Canyon, and to my surprise, there were a ton of because school is out, but I guess people stay the summer in Denver or in Boulder. So
That makes sense.
college town, whatever. It was good. time.
Anything nefarious?
Nothing nefarious. Went to a pool hall, but it was really
man.
bad. Yeah. I wish I had more nefarious things to do, but
It's just not fun anymore, dude.
I know I'm trying.
Like I supplied this network with 5 years at least of just like doing a lot of dumb stuff from like 23 until really honestly maybe the pandemic. So like 2016 until the pandemic, I was like squarely doing dumb stuff.
I mean,
And for you it was like 6 months before you got like a girlfriend. All your friends have girlfriends. Like you're not.
One of them was married that I was with.
One of
so-
your friends is married.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, not the crowd, but I did like drink a lot. Is that cool?
No, that's the least cool thing. The drinking
know
is
what
only
else.
cool if you ended
If
up
it
doing
leads
cool
to
stuff. Yeah.
Got
But just like,
oysters.
I had like 50 beers and then shot pool with my buddies.
Not as cool.
Not fun.
Damn. All right.
I could do that, dude.
Anybody do that. Yeah, it was good.
Okay.
World's hottest plane on the way back. Oh my
Oh, really?
God. It was 100 degrees in Denver. The plane was probably 98,
That stinks.
and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're delayed because we're trying to fix the AC. Sorry to you guys in the back." And then it just never got better. Luckily, we took off, but it
Wait,
was
they
just
were
constantly
delayed because they
sweating.
were trying to fix the AC, which they didn't.
Correct. So I think they
Air
were like,
travel is just brutal.
it's so tough. And so yeah, and then I was starting to go crazy because they didn't make that announcement for the first like 30 minutes.
Okay.
And I was like running a
You're
little late.
hungover. You're like, oh
And
man,
I was-
am I dying?
Seriously, was like wiping sweat and checking everyone around me like,
Everyone's just
is
staring
it just
at you.
me? Yeah. Someone like put on a sweater. I was like, gosh.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it through all of that.
Man, me too.
And
Still
then
hot
you
here.
got here and it's super hot.
Yeah, man.
I'm sweat. My shirt is is wet. I walk into work. It's beautiful. It's nice to see the sun is up now at like 5
Great.
here in Chicago. It's amazing, as opposed to walking here in the dark, which I do for half of the year. But now it is like I have to find it. I just got a new backpack as well.
Nice.
And I need to find one. I'm getting older, and I feel like older dude with backpack is not a cool look. And then
I'd
two-
contend that you walking down Milwaukee with a briefcase, walking as fast
I'm
as
not
you
wa-
do,
with a
looks-
briefcase.
Gotta go to the most important thing ever.
I do need some kind of alternative though, because your back just gets rocked. In
Messenger
the summer
bag?
heat.
A little satchel?
I had one of those, but like you put a computer in that, and it's like it doesn't like it just bangs against your hip. Also, any of the crossbody bags, and this is no anybody who wears these or anybody who's maybe sitting 10 feet away in the production area that maybe wears one of these, no disrespect whatsoever. The crossbody bags, they present as soft.
You could have just said not for you, but yeah,
I could have
sure.
said that. I could have said that. But especially when people started doing the fanny pack across the chest thing,
Yeah.
instantly out. I was just like, I don't even know where we're coming from with this.
That's a UK thing.
Is that where it started?
The Mendem. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Ask our friend Kyle.
Mendem?
Yeah, the Mendem. The boys. You lot.
I don't know. I don't know what any of that means, but that was one of those trends that I was like, okay, maybe I just don't get it, and then I absolutely never got it, and now I think it's fully aged out. Like,
Alright,
does
well,
anybody your age still do the crossbody
No,
fanny pack?
just my British friends. A couple of them still do it.
I didn't even know that it was a British thing.
I don't know.
I thought it was like a streetwear guy thing.
Yeah.
Like around, I live
But
near the Supreme in Chicago, and that's probably the highest per capita fanny pack across your chest.
Okay, but think about it. Streetwear, where does it always come from? Something
I don't know,
cooler.
the U.S.? Dude, you
No.
really have this thing wrong, and I'm
No.
excited for you to age into respecting and appreciating U.S. culture. Because
I'm just saying
they were like
streetwear comes
drinking
from-
tea and wearing big like frilly dresses
I'm just
until
saying-
we started showing them what to do.
I'm saying streetwear usually comes from something more practical or like more original, and so like UK gang culture started.
don't
I
have the
think.
internet. I don't have the internet.
And
Look up where the fanny pack across the chest thing started. And actually, it kind of proves my point. This is one of those rare occurrences where I'm covered on both sides, because if it is the UK, it just proves that it's dumb. And if it's not the UK, then the US is the center of innovation once again. Origin, just search origin. Australian women?
well, that was not on my bingo card.
Okay.
Okay, medieval era Britain.
Honestly, respect. Australia. That's one of those places that, like, if it's goofy, you kind of just have to be like, good for them.
You got something.
They rock the goofy stuff.
Because what they don't have right now
Oh, man.
is a strong currency.
No.
Sorry, Australia. Sorry to dunk on you this early, but yeah, it's when we're looking at our biggest movers of the morning, a lot of action overnight as we expected, but maybe not where you would have thought. We've got U.S. dollar strength against European currencies, a big bid in the U.S. dollar against the Japanese yen.
Yen's just getting rocked.
Yen's getting rocked, and then Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, in a big way, getting rocked. Most surprising to me, unchanged. U.S. dollar, Swiss franc, getting a lot of U.S. dollar strength across the board, perhaps getting canceled out with some sustained safe haven demand in this Swiss franc. But yeah, this Australian dollar, we'll see similar charts here across the currency space. It was a bit surprising Sunday night open, not seeing U.S. equities definitely open lower. Now paired all those losses, but we did have some gaps in currency markets, U.S. dollar pairs in particular, opening lower, staying around there through the Asia Open, and then through London till now, getting hit really hard as we saw a lot of this U.S. dollar demand come in this London Open.
A couple interesting things. You're exactly right that the Open was so much more boring than I thought it was going to be. I talked with our mutual friend Peter.
Good guy.
And I think we were all expecting a U.S. dollar bid, and it was just not really there. I mean, you see that gap, but that's all of 20 points here in Aussie. And if you go to, I mean, you can go to, Euro dollar.
A bit bigger.
Yeah, opened below 115. But like I was fully expecting
No
some
momentum.
100 point plus moves.
Sure.
And we didn't see, I don't think, any 100 point plus move in any of the US dollar crossed with other major currencies. Now, what's been interesting is as the news has started to be digested through Asia and Europe here and heading into the first US session of what is likely to be a pretty volatile week here, it's all coming out US dollar, which is, again, I think what people would have expected. But that head fake is really, really interesting to see us open down at 114.60, which again, we opened down there and they press those lows for a little bit, and it's like, oh man, like we might get down to 114. And I'm talking to Pete, and it's like, man, it'll be interesting if they try to take this market down to like 113 or 112 this week. Very much doable. And then they erase all of it. And yeah, we're back above 115 by pretty much midnight in the US. And it's one of those rare occurrences of like, you think one thing, you start to see that move play out, they completely erase it, and it's like, okay, actually, this isn't that much of a story at all. And now as we get into the US session, they are putting a pretty good bid in this US dollar. And I think back, if you go to the daily chart on this euro dollar, if you think back to what was, put more data in this, what was one of the big movers for euro dollar to the upside. I don't know if it was that early March move or maybe it was that early April move. One of those moves was that Germany is ramping up their military production, and they're going to put a lot of money into whatever, the whole thing.
Defense spending on the heels of Ukraine, Russia.
Exactly. And it was one of those stories that, like, again, I don't subscribe to pretty much any news sites, but it did shake this market out of a range. And again, I don't remember if that was, remember we were trading the 102 to 104, and then we completely moved beyond 104 and haven't looked back whatsoever. And then we were trading that 108 to 110, and then we completely wiped that out, and we haven't looked back at 110 since. It was one of those moves. I think it actually might be that one of those mid-April moves.
Yeah, this was
there was tariff stuff going on.
Liberation Day was one of these.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, this very much feels like and felt like one of those news items as well, where it's like, okay, like, you know, you can interpret Trump and everybody else however you want, but we flew a bunch of missiles into Iran, and it doesn't seem like we're going to stop spending on defense. It seems like at this point, everybody is into the idea of at least more defense spending, if not war. And how that doesn't translate to bullish US dollar is, it's hard for me to make a case for it not to be. Now, of course, the flip side of that coin, that, well, then Frank, why aren't we down at 112 or lower? Because there still is very much a case for there's a little bit more spending on defense, but this isn't war.
Right.
Iran and Israel, the Middle East tensions kind of calm for a little bit. Of course, this is, you know, an over 100-year tension, so I don't think it's necessarily going away, but it's alleviated in the short term, and then the euro dollar stories that have been going on take over once again. That's what makes, you know, an even 50-50 market here at 114.50, even though, yeah, I would have thought that this US dollar would have been on a much bigger run against euro and pound. And yeah, I'm surprised to see them wipe away all those dollar gains, but I'm not surprised now as we enter the US session to see some pretty big US dollar bids.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that in terms of headlines, that feels like it carries similar weight. But I guess it kind of when you think about it, we already have such a robust defense budget that maybe this doesn't even mean we need to spend more. We just happen to use something that we've been stockpiling for decades. But yeah, I think right now with this London Open, what it calls out to me is that right now we're just kind of seeing some of the oil play out, that, not necessarily any particular safe haven demand here, but perhaps euro, pound, Europe in general has a bit more of that oil dependency, as now an Iran escalation could, last week we completely, the initial headline was, oh, they're going to block oil through the Strait of whatever that is, and then that kind of went away. Now I think that's back a little bit, and the U.S. definitely less affected as such a major oil producer. But what's been surprising to me over this hourly candle is, you can see absolutely where the buyers are and forming pretty strong resistance over the past week here, not getting too beat up past 115. Definitely sets the week up very interesting in this market in particular, with an 80 pip range, 70 already coming into this
For sure.
and two-way.
Yeah,
So,
nice to see. It's a solid range, and you're exactly right that now just getting into the price action of it all, this market completely unable to fall below 114.50 for the last several days, even again on news stories like what have been developing the last 48 hours or so. But if we go over to dollar yen, completely different story.
yeah.
This has just been a runaway train here. A market that looked at 145 for a long minute at the end of last week, and has looked at 145 so many times over the course of the last several weeks, and has been unable to sustain bullish action above 145, and has now just completely blown it out. And this is what I was more envisioning for that euro dollar market, for these dollar-based pairs across the board, is a dollar bid on the open, and then just like some new range.
Yeah.
Again, going back to that euro dollar story where it was just like, I remember coming to my monitor and I'm like, oh man, euro's up 200 points. What the hell happened? And it's like, oh yeah, Germany's, doing whatever. There's always a reason for these things, it turns out.
Really? Just that.
and then it just never came back.
Yeah.
And it was
We've had 3 successive moves like that, where the trading range just categorically changed to the euro's favor.
And it's so interesting to me to see, and look at right now, they try to break 148, but have given back 30 points. Pretty interesting price action right here at 148.
No gap here, and same kind of stutter, little fake out.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, I was watching the open, and then I was checking in on prices during the Thunder game, and it was just like, oh man, this is all over once again. Like, this is completely done with. But it's funny, in the same way that euro seems so strong because they're unable to get even down to 114, this yen seems so weak because they're unable now to even bounce off of 145 or 146. We're clear above 147 at this point, and we'll see how much ground they give back here at 148.
This is looking stronger by the minute.
But it's funny how different the dynamics here are, because you go to those commodity currencies as well, and I would have expected that with a bounce back, if euro was going to outperform yen, let's say, I would have expected Aussie to outperform euro, and this one is now threatening to completely unravel. This Australian dollar, as you put more data in here, is now back to lows for the last month of trading, and is, in my mind, vulnerable of getting back into that 62, 61, 63, that kind of area that we were just stuck in for months.
And finally building throughout the start of June, breaching 65 cents. Yeah, I mean, once you're through this 64-cent level, I mean, that was pretty strong support on the way back to where we are. But yeah, now we have a lot more recent historic context for, moves all the way down to 60 cents. But again, to me, it's after looking at this yen chart, most surprising to me is that this dollar Swiss franc pair is staying as congested as it
probably
is.
A lot of canceling out. Like
Right.
if Swiss franc is going to be the true like neutral flight to quality, and U.S. dollar is kind of the flight to quality for this story in particular, a little bit of canceling out here. But yeah, man, I mean, some pretty interesting price action if you were trading.
Yeah, why so disconnected to the yen then? If that's another historic safe haven?
I think yen and Aussie have some specific
Larger
dynamics
export ties, perhaps.
that are really, like flight to quality has nothing to do with yen at this point. It's like, I mean, if you pulled up the euro yen chart or the pound yen chart, it's a bloodbath for the yen compared to any of these markets. It's been absolutely brutal. I mean, we're staring at now here in euro yen 170, which is
oh man,
right back to those highs for multiple years. And so, some interesting dynamics. I think that if this euro dollar market gets down below 114, we might see that kind of all-out dollar bid that I was thinking might happen last night, and I think a lot of people were probably projecting going into this week. Thankfully, and nothing against the holiday last week or the holiday this upcoming week, but this is just a solid, no weird schedule week. No 4th of July, no Juneteenth or anything. I believe that Trump already has some scheduled speeches he's at some summit, which I am positive there will be some volatility around that. Powell speaking as well. I don't know how interesting the Fed activity is at a time like this. Oh man, this is his testimony, so he's got 2 days.
Yep.
A lot of stuff here this week on top of just the organic price action of the potential U.S. entering Middle Eastern war. I mean, I don't know what technically we call war, these different things, but the action over the weekend, obviously, this isn't over with for at least the next couple of weeks here. So much stuff to be trading around and so much back and forth already.
There you have it. We're set up for an exciting week here in the currency space. A lot of movement overall, but to take you into the trading week, we have Tom, Tony, and Vanetta up next, so stay tuned. Actually, it's Liz and Jenny up next. Stay tuned on Tasty Live.
Global markets never sleep. Explore them with Forex, now available on tastytrade. Get in on over 80 Forex pairs, 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, with the Forex platform that adapts to your style and speed. FX marks the spot. Trade it on tastytrade.
My dad, who was trading options in retirement, introduced me to options trading. He said, you have to check out this Tasty Live site. The way they taught options was very accessible and easy to pick up. I think a lot of people think that options trading is gambling, but it's not. It is simply probability and taking an educated guess. It's more like insurance. People should watch Tasty Live because you can pick up a lot of information in a short amount of time, and it's actually practical. You can use it to make money, most important part.
You can get up to $4,000 when you open and fund a new account with Tasty Trade. That's 4,000 buckaroos, 4,000 bills, or clams, 4,000 in dough or cheddar, not the cheesy kind. 4 large, 4K, 4 grand, which is no small thing. Open and fund a new Tasty Trade account and get on the platform for traders who just want to trade. And did we mention a bonus of up to 4,000 smackaroos? Tasty Trade. Make your move.
Traders, start your platform. Tom Sosnoff and Tony Batista are hitting the road for their first ever live trading event, At Work by 11. It's unprecedented, unpredictable, and unlike any other financial event. Watch these masters make real trades in real time. Doors open at 8, the action starts at 9, and we'll have you back at work by 11. Sign up today at tastylive.com/events.
Clip thy waxen wings, thou economic Icarus. Discard these feathery adornments, thy flight's too vigorous. Rather, garb thyself with the soft fur of the bear, and dwell in low burrows of the valley fair. Forsake thy previous highs and perilous summit, for lo, I am short, so I must needs thee plummet. O market, I implore thee, make no high. Like some comic Fozzie, unclip thy bow tie. If thou dost tumble, I shall offer thee up a succulent hoagie. So, ye markets, remain as bearish as beloved Yogi. Follow thee the lead of Kipling's Baloo, and may the move be sweet as honey to Winnie the Pooh. With joy I watch descending chart lines straighten, run down with quickness and sweetness, like Lord